Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Eva, and I will be your host today for our webinar on how to choose a future-proof CMS. So before we get started, I would like to quickly introduce to you the sponsors who brought you this webinar, which are Hippo CMS and certified service partner Eastbank Technologies. So for those of you who are new to Hippo, Hippo is on a mission to make the digital experience more personable for every visitor. We are redefining the CMS space by engineering the world's most advanced content performance platform, help design businesses understand their visitors, whether they are known or anonymous, and deliver the content they value in any context and on any device. Together with our global network of certified partners, Hippo serves a rapidly growing number in enterprise clients around the world and has headquarters in Amsterdam, Boston, London, and Oldenburg, Germany. So introducing Eastbank Technologies. Eastbank Technologies is a platform-agnostic, full lifecycle software development company delivering flexible technology solutions. They break complexity down and deliver tailored solutions to seamlessly integrate with our clients' existing systems, increasing efficiency and maximizing value. So we already got to the housekeeping, I believe, so there it is. Today's webinar will be a short and sweet one. It will last 30 minutes, and we've got two presenters for you, and a recording of the webinar will be made available to you afterwards. In fact, you can visit the URL you're watching this webinar on today to see an on-demand version post-event, which you can share with others or maybe embed in a blog post or perhaps share on Twitter or Facebook. Also, please use the rating system on the way out today to give it a 1 to 5-star rating for the quality of the webinar, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. There will also be a short Q&A session at the end of the webinar, so please keep your questions coming by using the questions button in the webinar display panel. We will try to answer as many questions from the audience as possible within those 30 minutes remaining. All right, then. So we are actually broadcasting today from the Hippo headquarters in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and I am very proud to welcome our two presenters, Eric Hoffman and Mark Peerdeman today. Good morning, Eric. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Eva. I'm doing very well. Thank everybody for joining. We appreciate your time today.
Yes, we do, and we have also a second presenter with us, which is Mark, who's joining us from Amsterdam. So good afternoon to you, Mark.
Hi, Eva, and everybody out there. Very nice to be here.
Well, it is great to have you both. And before we continue, I was thinking maybe I should just give you a little bit of background on both Eric and Mark, because Eric is Vice President at Eastbank Technologies, and he has a passion for helping organizations leverage cloud, mobile, and other technologies to transform operations and derive business value. His unique inside experience and engineering skill have been instrumental in successful planning efforts for their clients ranging from the U.S. military to the media and entertainment industry. And Mark heads up Hippo's product department and has over 20 years of experience in marketing and product management. He regularly shares his knowledge writing articles for several tech and marketing magazines, and he is also a proud member, an active member of the leading Dutch digital rights organization, Bits of Freedom. So together, they will demonstrate why high-value content alone isn't enough to satisfy customer demands, how a CMS can better serve different channels, how to optimize these and better understand your audience's journey, and what tomorrow's changing content means for your CMS. So with that, I would like to hand it over to you, Eric.
Hi, thanks, Eva. I appreciate it. And again, welcome everybody. We are in the East Coast of the United States, and what I wanted to really talk to the audience today about is really a practical application of what we call futurizing not only your CMS but also your presence that your constituents and customers are going to see. And so we have spent quite a bit of time building our practice around this, and we are eating our own dog food, as they say in the industry. We actually took this skill and our experience and applied that to our own website, which is sort of the journey I'm going to take you through today. So with that, one of the things that we really wanted to do for East Bank Technologies was to improve our presence in the world. And so the approach we took, which I think was a good one, was to really sit down with not only our engineering team, our owners, and our marketing team, and really identify primary and secondary goals. We knew that we wanted to have a much better experience. We wanted to have new reach. We wanted to have more connection with our readers and our constituents and our customers and partners. And of course, like everybody else, we really wanted to do everything all at one time. And I will caution everybody that's on the phone to resist that urge. I think that is something that is one of the biggest issues that people have, is they want to change the world overnight. I would suggest that you pick the top 3 or 4 things that you really want to accomplish first with your new content management system and portal, and then break that out, and then do secondary and tertiary and third and fourth goals as different phases in the project. For us, really, our primary goal for our content management system and portal is a state-of-the-art selling tool. And that's everything from our products and our services to our content, our ads, our thought leadership, all of these things that make up what East Bank, the threads and the core of what East Bank Technologies really is. We really wanted that to be, basically put out in a new light and really, have a presence that we didn't have before. The second thing that we really wanted was to have a great experience on all form factors. One of the problems we had with our old experience, while we had a website, it really wasn't something that we were proud of. It didn't really exemplify the quality of the services and solutions and the quality of the personnel and people that we have here, and we wanted that to match. And then the other thing that we wanted to do was really to get better insight into our users. We had really a little bit of insight, but we really didn't know who you were, how to best serve you, what device you were coming in on, and so we really wanted to get a really good handle on that. And we really wanted to get those out in the first 6 months of our redo. So we split that into our primary goals. We had a long series of meetings. We had to really be diligent and vigilant about, restraining ourselves from trying to get it all at one time. So those were our top 4 goals. And then if you're going to go down this journey, I would suggest that and highly recommend you do this in the same fashion, or else you'll end up just getting too fragmented. Now, not that these other secondary goals weren't equally as important, but we wanted to make sure we got the first 4 goals out correctly. Now, our secondary goals, which is probably not unusual to you folks on the phone as well, we really wanted to know who our users are. Because if you know who your users are and your partners or would-be partners are going to be, you can target them differently with different content and different experiences. And that's really where the value of a high-performance, high-quality, well-thought-out HIPAA CMS can really help you. The other thing that we want to do is once we know who you are, we wanted to be able to experiment with new content. And that new content may be things that we show them based on their behavior and what they like to see. What are they coming in? Are they coming in looking after our thought leadership, or are they coming in looking for some help? Maybe they're in a big crunch and they need some help. So that's really what we did first, is to kind of identify your primary and secondary goals. So once you have those goals set up, we really decided to dig into how that would overlay into the technology that HIPAA CMS provides. And we really kind of broke that into 3 areas: rich and intelligent content, of course, user feedback and collaboration analytics, and third was just we wanted to be present everywhere. We wanted ubiquity across every single device that's in the market today. So let me talk about rich and intelligent content distribution. So first and foremost, it's that old adage that says, you never get a chance to make a first impression, a second chance to make a first impression, and we believe that to be true with our website as well. So we really took advantage of the HIPAA landing page and navigation manager to make sure that our first experience with would-be potential partners and customers was the best that we could have. I also say that we added in a lot of design and thinking about the color schemes and what those mean and the emotions those facilitate. So I would take that into account as well. I think it's an important piece that you also want to take into account. We also wanted page diagnostics. Per page, we wanted to know exactly what page was getting hit and why. And that'll tell us, hey, maybe we didn't present the content in as good a fashion as we could have. And the other thing we wanted is we wanted it to be extremely fast. No matter what device you're coming in on, even on a poor quality connection, we wanted it to be extremely fast. Now, in terms of user feedback and collaboration, we wanted it to be more than just somebody comes in, they read a good piece, a good thought leadership piece, and they go, wow, I wish I could talk to somebody. A lot of mistakes that I see with folks that are trying to connect with their audience is that they don't have a way for people to connect real time. So what we did is we instrumented a feature called Intercom, and of course we integrated Google Analytics and HubSpot. This allows us to have almost real-time sort of communication and be able to have that interaction with people that come to our site, and also be able to gather those analytics. We then take those analytics and review them with our marketing team on a monthly and quarterly basis to see who's coming in, and then we actually use that as a way to be proactive to reach out to them. If we see a particular customer coming in and they've been to our site 75 times, we probably are going to call them and say, hey, looks like you like the content, let's have a conversation. So that's the way you can use this as a lead generation tool as well. And then, of course, last but not least, we really wanted ubiquity. One of the problems that we had with our old website, while it was somewhat responsive and adaptive, it wasn't really a first-class experience. We really wanted something that you could be proud of on all devices. So we took advantage of the device preview feature from HIPAA CMS and really used that in order to develop it, and really made it seem almost bulletproof. So when you come in there you're on an iPhone, you're on an Android phone, or you're on a big Thunderbolt monitor like I'm on right now with the Mac, you're going to have a great experience. And the other thing that we liked a lot when we developed it was the live reload for template development. Our engineers love that. That just makes the development a whole lot easier. And so if you guys have questions or want to follow up with us afterwards, I can get into what that looks like. But those were the must-have features that we wanted today when we launched our new CMS and our portal. So with that, now that means that, well, gee, are you sure that that's all you wanted to get done? Well, the answer, of course, is no. There's always things that you want to do that that you don't have time to do. So these are kind of the things we put on the V2 list, and our journey with HIPAA CMS and our portal will never end. We're constantly adding new content to it. We're constantly adding new features, and as the genius minds at Hippo come out with new features and functionality, we fold those back into our site to make our experience better. Let me give you some examples. We really want to be able to customize the experiences even more than we have now. So if you go to eastbanktech.com and give that a spin and kick the tires, you'll see there that if you come in on a device, we've handled that, but we really want to take advantage of some of the features and intelligence they've built into the CMS, like the Relevance Manager, and that gives you, really allows you to customize the experiences for folks that really, because you may have some technology people or some folks that are looking for help that only read and do research on a tablet when they're commuting on a train or they're commuting on a plane. They may have Wi-Fi on a plane, and that's the form factor that they always do their research on. So we want that to not only be relevant to them, but be the best experience possible. We also really are looking heavily into the enterprise forums. That's just as a time-saving feature. As we add and expand out our thought leadership, and really again, if you remember one of our primary goals, we use this as a way to share knowledge with the community at large. These enterprise forums features really help us develop those forums faster, with less engineering cycles on our side. We really appreciate that from an engineering thing. The other thing that I think that's really important if you're trying to connect with your audience is if you know me, then show me that you know me. And that is really part of the relevance module that Hippo, I think, has done a really good job with. It allows us to target you based on your past behaviors and where you go. And then we can also take it to the next level, which is really looking at experimenting around with new marketing and ideas and new content to give to people. And so the point of this is that we will always be future-proofing the CMS by employing these things. We love the extensibility of the Hippo CMS. There are, if things aren't there, we can add to it. It's a lot of based on Java, so you can extend things. We really appreciate that. It's a journey. It's not a destination for us. And for us, if you take a look at eastbanktech.com, we really are proud of what we put together. And you'll see the results of probably a year of hard work that's still in progress. I think we have about another year to go. But I think we spent the last year working hard on this, and we really appreciate some of the new features that Hippo has been able to give us in order to bring a great experience to. And we've gotten really good feedback on it too. So hopefully this gives you guys some real insight into somebody who's not just, theorizing about this. We live and breathe this. We believe in this very passionately, and hopefully you've gleaned some insight into when you go about your journey down to create your content management system and your new portal that you hopefully reach your customers with. With that, I'll turn it back over to Ava and Mark. Thank you guys very much.
Well, thank you very much, Eric, for this great, interesting story from a partner perspective. Actually, I like this very much, that you use Hippo for your own website, for your own company website. That's what we do as well. Actually, the onehippo.com, the onehippo.org sites, actually they all run on Hippo, and it is incredibly how much you can learn and how much you can find out using your own products indeed. Well, here's Mark from Hippo, and from my side I will try to augment this presentation from a product vendor point of view. So this would give in one webinar a nice overview from several perspectives, and I think that's very useful to see. Well, actually most enterprises today are already digitized, of course. Well, digitization levels range from the very hip, full implemented disruptive business models like Uber, WhatsApp, Alibaba and Airbnb. But what we often forget is that the traditional automation, the telcos, the banks, the insurance, the governments also are heavily digitized. Not in their entire business model, but they do have core processes running on digital. Because that's what they all have in common. Their core processes are running digitally. So no matter how sophisticated their digital strategy is, without computers, their business would just come to a halt. So this means that enterprises really have to rely on the smooth operation and evolution of their digital systems as a solid basis for their digital strategy. Not as a single one-time moment, but over time. So we are speaking about a continuous effort. Their IT systems need to be able and to be flexible enough to support their digital strategy, now and in the future. And of course, this is not about the CMS alone. This, of course, counts for the entire IT landscape of the enterprise. Well, of course, the CMS is a very important and basic part of the systems landscape. It's not the only system. We're speaking about evolving landscape of heterogeneous systems that change and evolve over time. So besides being future-proof as a CMS itself, you also need to make sure that you can embed this CMS in an ever-changing environment. Well, this sounds nice. But then reality kicks in. In reality, this landscape is not that optimal and smooth. So several interruptions happen in all those systems or influence these. So for instance, I just noted and jotted down some software updates and upgrades. So all software in your infrastructure has its own product life cycle, and it's evolving over time. So this can cause disruptions in your IT landscape, especially when systems are changed in a non-backwards compatible manner. And this happens often, especially if you have many systems that need to work together. So you need to plan updates and upgrades, everything in time and very carefully. Otherwise you break the overall functionality of the landscape. Second thing, for instance, is the content migration when moving to a new CMS, because every enterprise already has a CMS. So that means that introducing a new CMS is a migration exercise. It's not something new. It's not about starting from scratch. So your current system needs to be able to export your content in a useful manner. Ask yourself, did you put this in the requirements when you select the CMS? Well, often this is a point where vendors try to lock you in. New functionality or features are often needed to enable your digital strategy. So the requirements you need to execute upon in the future probably cannot be fulfilled by the systems of today. This means that you need to include future requirements in your current system evaluation. This is extremely important, and that's good to know. Well, the changing IT landscape in the company, new systems come, they go, need to be connected, all at the same time. Besides your own system, you need other systems like marketing automation or help desk systems or transactional systems to connect to your CMS. And these systems have, as said before, their own life cycle and update cycle. New requirements from the marketing departments and business, new digital touch points to be supported, and because the digital customer changes very, very fast, you need to be able to adapt quickly. You need agile processes to support changes in priority or even complete new digital touch points to match the requirements from the business. Another point, it sounds a bit blunt, but changes in management. We see this a lot. This sounds trivial, but we have seen many cases where a change in management directly reflected in a change in the IT landscape. Another point is end of life of other software. Well, this comes back to the first point, but it imposes extra risks because software that's end of life is not supported anymore and therefore doesn't fix security vulnerabilities anymore. And well, even if your system is compromised elsewhere by another software package, it doesn't even have to be the CMS. All your other systems are unsafe as well. And then you have, of course, inflexibility of the current product. Many CMSs don't think about these issues and just provide a current feature set, matching as much features as possible. So the more checkboxes, the better. Well, by now it becomes very clear that this has nothing to do with being future-proof. Well, so after telling what you do not need, we can ask ourselves, what do you need? Well, these 5 items give you a nice start of this. The first one, interoperability, revolves about being able to seamlessly fit in the IT landscape of the enterprise. Our architecture is designed to offer this interoperability at many levels. We can use open standards wherever possible, and actually the CMS is open source, so you literally have limitless interoperability. Second one, the agility plays at several levels as well. And agility is the way we increase the speed of your business. So for business, the separation of concerns makes fast content update cycles possible. Change your content at a single place and have your edits propagate through all your channels and touch points coherently. Second, your data and analytics capabilities offer ways to optimize your customer experience in a fact-based way. Test, try, and prove that your business improvements actually work. Then we introduce agility in the development process. That's what we offer as well. These were the templates that Eric spoke about. Ease of development by offering a standards component library to the developer, and improve the agility by editing without having to rebuild and redeploy all the time. Agility in collaboration, so make content design and development come together in the channel manager, make it possible for everybody in the team, business and development, to look at the same environment, improving capability, quick review, and development of new features. Then we also have agility in deployment. Of course, we have our on-demand REST API. It enables you to connect your existing development streets. And in this way, you can create continuous integration with testing, acceptance, and production environments in the cloud. And you can also do backups and restores. So with Hippo On Demand, you can run environments in the cloud. This means you do not need to buy and maintain hardware, but just create Hippo environments when you need them. Scale them up or down. And besides the obvious smart move from capital expenditure to operational expenditure, this has a major impact on your agility as well. You're in control. Besides this self-service environment for manual deployments, we all have APIs to control it programmatically as well. Well, but finally, of course, all this interoperability and agility do not work without a long-term cooperation between enterprise partner and vendor. So you don't want to do this entire exercise every 3 years again and again. You need to look for longer-term cooperation, regardless of the feature requirements you have today. So therefore, the most important thing is that there is an alignment between the enterprise, the partner, and the product vendor for longer-term issues. So you need an aligned roadmap and an aligned vision. These are extremely important. So besides being future-proof as a product, these requirements need to be in any set of requirements in order to make these future-proof. That's what I wanted to say to you. Back to Eva.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark. So we still have time for a small Q&A session, so I would like to open it now. Thank you to those who already sent in questions during the webinar. If you have any additional comments, questions, and ideas, you can use the question button or just tweet us at OneHippo. So I will jump right in with the question that came in during your presentation, Eric. Eric, the question is, how long did it take you to get your CMS up and running?
Yeah, that's a great question, Eva, and I would say that we're still working on it. It's not done, but I mean, all kidding aside, I think for us to really get something that we were able to, when somebody went into a browser and eastbanktech.com, I would say it was probably a good 3 to 6 months. We had an alpha version ready in about 3 months, but we kept having to change the content and make sure it worked and testing. So it took us about probably 4 to 6 months before we had something that was really something that we felt good about presenting to the world. And so I encourage people to give it a look and let us know if you have ideas or feedback for us. We'd love to hear it. But I think that's a good gauge for this, and it is a journey. We're not done with it. Like I said, we're continuing to make improvements on it, but I think that's a good gauge for folks. And we had some pretty smart engineers working on this that have been through the HIPPO training and are certified. So a lot of it was the art and the design, and we kept changing it. So a lot of that was our own sort of perfectionism. So you may be able to shorten that up as well.
Right. And did it resonate? Like, what made it resonate with your developers?
Well, I think the fact that we have a large Java constituency here at Eastbank Technologies, so we have a lot of Java developers, and I think that's one. But the other portion as well is that it's very extensible. That's what we really like about the HIPPO CMS is that if there are things you need to do to extend it or things you want to change, you can do that. It's a content management system that's really made for developers at heart. Which is what we like about it more than a lot of the competition out there. A lot of the other ones are very arduous. You can't modify things very easily. With this one, it's a great product in the fact that we can go in under the hood and change things if we need to. So that's what really resonates with our developers.
Great. Well, I think that will definitely answer the question, or I hope. And thank you so much, Eric, and also Mark. I'm afraid we'll have to cut this Q&A very short, and I already see some other questions coming in. So we will definitely get back to you all individually by answering any remaining questions that you have. We promised you 30 minutes, so that's what you're going to get. Of course, this isn't the end. Please check out our HIPPO channel on BrightTalk for more videos, or get in touch with us and Eastbank Technologies through LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook. As I mentioned in the beginning, this webinar has been recorded and will be made available on demand on BrightTalk and on the HIPPO and Eastbank Technologies websites. And don't forget to leave a rating, please. We will really appreciate your feedback on this webinar. So with that, I would like to thank both my presenters for joining us today and also you for being able to make the time. And have a great remaining Tuesday. I am saying so long from Amsterdam.